In this exercise, we're going to add a custom bevel, and we're also going to lift the letters slightly off the background by reducing the depth of the extrusion. And with that 3D layer selected, I'm going to go up to the 3D menu, choose Repoussé, and choose Edit in Repoussé, but I do want to mention in passing this Split Repoussé Meshes command. It's very useful. We're not going to employ it now, but what it does is it takes the components inside of a mesh and splits them apart. So if you wanted to split the 3 from the D and manipulate them independently, then you would choose this command. However, that's not what we're doing. We're going to choose Edit in Repoussé in order to bring up the Repoussé dialog box. And I'm going to change the bevel settings by increasing the height value to 1 and the width value to 3. That'll give us a slight diagonal bevel. That's not what I want. What I want is a flat beveled edge, a little tiny height 1 cliff, and then we end up with the face of the letters. And I'm going to do that by modifying the contour. So I'll go ahead and click inside of this little semaphore flag in order to bring up the contour editor dialog box. Then I'll click on the line to add a point to it, and I'll drag that point down to the very bottom. And what we're doing is we're describing the angle of that beveled edge. So we're seeing a flat surface up front. You can see that flat surface out here in the image window. And then that's our cliff right there. Go ahead and click OK to accept that modification. Now I'm going to reduce the depth value from 0.2 to 0.1. Now you might ask, why in the world am I doing this? If I wanted a 0.1 extrusion up front, which I did, then I should have gone ahead and dialed it in. Well, what I really wanted was an extruded edge that's every bit as big as the gap between the letters and the shadow in the background. So I doubled my depth value up front, and then I was able to use that snap to ground plane command in order to snap the letters right into place. Then I go ahead and reduce the depth by half, and I end up with the exact gap I was looking for. So now I'm going to go ahead and click OK in order to accept that modification. Now, there's one thing still wrong here, so I am going to interrupt the render by clicking. Notice that this beveled edge is white. It should be filled with paper texture. So I'm going to double click on the layer thumbnail to bring up the 3D panel, and I'm going to click on this material drop tool in order to select it. If you're working along with me, your tool should still be loaded with that paper texture, but if you're not sure, just go ahead and press the Alt key or the Option key on the Mac and click on the face of one of the letters. Then release Alt or Option and click inside of one of the beveled edges in order to fill all the beveled edges with that texture. And now this time I'm actually going to let the ray tracing run, and you will see as it runs how the noise inside of the shadow starts smoothing away. And that's something that happens with every single pass of this progressive rendering engine. And the big difference, by the way, between the two quality settings, Ray Trace Draft and Ray Trace Final, is the amount of noise you get inside of your final image. Ray Trace Draft is going to leave a lot more noise, but it's like 4 or 5 times quicker, whereas Ray Trace Draft is going to leave a lot more noise. Ray Trace Final is going to smooth away most of that noise, but it takes about 4 or 5 times longer. All right, so there's the final rendered version of the scene. I'll go ahead and hide the 3D panel so we can see it. But I've got one more exercise waiting for you, in which I demonstrate the appearance of every single one of those 18 presets inside the Repoussé dialog box. Stay tuned.